gave us a nice on stage next to the mic introduction for our guest Mario. Do you want to do it again since this shit wasn't recording?
I got one in me. I got one in me. You fucking
Mario. Who the fuck are you?
Yes. Let's see. I am a lover of comedy. I love having the power to manipulate people to make them laugh, or to eviscerate some kind of emotional response from them. It's like a superpower.
It is.
I love that shit.
I have so much respect for you guys. Go on stage and do that shit.
Yeah. I met Mario, so we'll do this part again while it's recording.
Mario
Mario
was only a couple minutes at least.
Was my first comedy friend. We met when we were both doing the open mic at the it was called the National Comedy Club. It's been gone forever. And they had this open mic. I want to say it was on Sundays. Was it on Sunday nights?
That feels right. That was my first time going on stage too.
Yeah. And I was so nervous, and I wanted to be Sam Kinison. So I went and I bought a minister's outfit from a religious supply store.
Yeah, I went and got in a car wreck and had a traumatic brain injury, so I could, yeah.
And it was horrifying. I wasn't funny, because the difference is Sam Kinison did a bunch of religious shit, but he was funny, and he had been a minister in real life.
Yeah.
And I just was not and had not. So
what material were you doing? Like going to Lutheran High type shit, or what?
Like Jesus is a fag and shit. Just stupid. Just
same shit you're doing. Mario was right. Off camera, he said he's still doing the same shit after 20 years.
Fuck you, Jesus. Yeah, and it wasn't funny. And I would baptize people. I was drinking Jack Daniels, and I would baptize people with the fucking Jack and shit. It wasn't funny.
It's open mic
one night,
funny. But
I remember I went there for a few months, and that's when I would Mario and I would see each other there. And I remember one night, Mario, it was like January. It was snowing and it was freezing cold. And we went there. I went there, and you were standing outside, and you were like, "It's gone." The club ceased to exist. It was just gone. There was no notification that they weren't doing an open mic anymore.
I remember that.
Yeah, not only was the open mic not a thing, the fucking club wasn't a thing anymore.
The restaurant, yeah.
Yeah.
like you went one Sunday, and the next Sunday it was just a supper club or some shit. Like,
yeah, it was
just a hotel.
It was the bar in a hotel downstairs. The right across from the.
How much of a hand do you think you guys had in killing it? Gull, as soon as Gull started doing his act, the place shut the fuck down.
And then
talking about shutting down a room. Damn.
And then the next Thursday, you told me that you were like, "Hey, they do the open mic on Thursdays at the Safe House, blah blah blah." So the next Thursday, we met up at the Safe House.
Nice.
And started doing that. And
I got to squeeze one more in.
Worked at the Safe House by then. I had already worked at the front door and quit in a huff because they wouldn't give me a raise, because I thought I was the best door guy ever. So I demanded more money, and they were like, "You're the fucking door guy, dude."
I think you overestimated.
You're like, "Here's my rider."
Yeah. I am why people have to do the hula hoop. I make them use that hula hoop. There are no coconut tits without me. It was fucking awful. But yeah, that's that gig doing the front door there. That's when Carlton wanted to beat my ass. Alfonso Rivera.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, he showed up one night.
Carlton would fuck you up. I think
he was
ripped. Low center of gravity. Stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like a pit bull. He was built like a fucking
like a young Herschel Walker.
Only 2 abortions in.
He came in with a buddy.
Right.
And the friend of his brought him into that outside lobby of the Safe House where you're like, what's the password? And Carlton was like not in a good mood to begin with. And his friend was like, "You got to know the password. You got to know the password." And he's like, "Just let me the fuck in." So I was like, "No, you have to know the password." A good
moonwalk, motherfucker.
So I made them do. You remember at the Safe House, Mario, how they had the cameras in the outer lobby, and if you were in the bar, you could watch on TV monitors.
You could see it, right? Yeah.
It's fucking great.
So I made the buddy lay on his back like this, and then I made Carlton lay like they were 69. And I made him do push-ups.
Do you deserve a raise? You are the best doorman.
And from the angle that the cameras caught it, it looked like Carlton was fucking his friend. So everybody in the bar, it looked like they were fucking having missionary sex.
Oh, missionary. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and Carlton, so I let him in. I opened
his name is Alfonso. You know that, right?
That's probably why he hated you.
Whatever.
You're like, sing the Silver Spoons theme, motherfucker. Moonwalk, motherfucker.
So Alfonso got into the bar, and everybody was like clapping, like they do when people get humiliated. And then there was this kind of, I could hear it from the outer lobby. There was this kind of quiet, and then this huge round of applause when they realized who he was in the bar. They were like, "Holy shit, that's fucking Alfonso."
Somebody throw some Tom Jones on the fucking jukebox. Yeah.
So like 5 minutes later, he came crashing. He left through that secret exit of the phone booth.
The alley door,
Yeah. And he came crashing through the front door again, and his friend had to like pull him back. He wanted to beat my ass. He was screaming at me. "I'm gonna fuck you up. You fucking humiliated me. I'm gonna fucking kill you, dude." And his friend had to like pull him off of me. It was awesome.
That's great.
Awesome.
You know what would be really, really great to hear this story from his point of view? You would just be like some asshole at the door.
Yeah.
This asshole
trying
at the
to flex
door.
on a celebrity.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you knew who he was, right?
I knew who he was about halfway into it.
What was that like? Where you're like, "Oh shit, am I making Carlton fucking what?"
At first, I thought it was just a little muscular motherfucker that I was humiliating, and then I was like, "Oh my god, that's fucking the Fresh Prince guy." Huh, cool.
And humiliating muscular short guys is probably like your bread and butter and shit, right?
I live for that. I pay extra for that. Fuck yeah.
Do you have any?
That's my whole profile on FetLife. The humiliating muscular. Fucking.
Do you have any other celebrity door room encounters at the safe room?
The first night I ever had to do the door there. The first night I was on my own. Greg Brady came in.
Oh shit!
What?
Barry Williams.
This Brady is like in his boxing, celebrity boxing era type shit.
He was in town doing like a revival of The Music Man. It was touring around the country. And there were these like 4 drunk white girls, like woo girls. And they came in, and I was having them do like humiliating shit. And then I look over to the left, and that's where the door was. And there's this like middle-aged dude walking in with another guy. And I recognized him immediately. I'm like, holy fuck, that's Greg Brady from the fucking Brady Bunch. And I kind of,
you're like Team Partridge Family, so you're like, it's on, motherfucker.
And I like put my hand out to him, like, don't come up the steps, don't let these girls see you. And so what I did with the girls then was I made them sing the Brady Bunch theme, because everybody knows the fucking Brady Bunch theme. So they're singing it, and then when they get about halfway through, I like motioned for Barry Williams to come up the steps, and all of a sudden these 4, you're a drunk skank in your 20s, and you're singing the Brady Bunch theme, and fucking Greg Brady's right in your face.
That's fucking awesome.
They were screaming. So one of them started crying. It was fucking awesome. It was fucking awesome.
Did you get laid?
No, I was
Greg
married.
Brady, yeah. Man, does anyone remember? Like, first off, are we too woke to have that entrance to the safe house anymore? Like, can you not shame people and shit on them and make fun of them anymore?
No, that's my choice, man. That's my choice. If you have to do that to go to your job, that's one thing.
Right. I'm just saying, can as the business get added at too much on Twitter for fat shaming or whatever other tomfoolery goes on at that door? Like the stuff you did, get down and pretend like you're fucking them. I feel like this wouldn't fly nowadays.
Homophobic to make a guy look like he was fucking another guy. That would be taken as homophobic.
That's what I'm saying. So half the shit you do.
I think they would just fire that guy, the doorman. Like, dude, you can't do that.
So nowadays it's like soft nerf shaming, basically, like humiliation.
Yeah.
Basically just,
But like now the company, the bar after Dave Baldwin, the guy who started the place, died, it's now owned by the Marcus Corporation. So I'm sure it's a way more clean corporate kind of a situation there now. And
what do they do there now? It's just a bar?
It's allegedly the same. It's still the safe house. They still have the Burt Reynolds thing in the ladies' room, and they have the secret walls and shit. But I'm sure it's a lot more tame.
That sucks.
Well, yeah, it would have cost a fortune to get that shit out of there. All of that stuff they had in there.
Yeah,
it would cost a fortune to change.
Yep. You remember when we got kicked out of the safe house when Tony's open mic got canceled there?
No, what happened?
Oh God.
Like the very last day, the last time.
Yeah, Dave Baldwin came in with his wife. That horrifying woman, and it was during an open mic. And one thing that was cool about Tony Miller, the guy who ran it, was he had like really wide sort of appeal. Like white tourists from Iowa loved him, but like so did everybody else. So a lot more.
You had to be like that.
As the years went on, a lot more black comics started coming to the safe house, which meant that a lot more black customers started coming to the safe house. And Dave Baldwin came through one night with his wife, and it was like probably 80% people of color in his nice little James Bond bar. And he flipped the fuck out.
Really?
And that was the last show we were allowed to do. They canceled. Wow.
He got mad because the audience was too black.
Yeah. Well, his wife did.
That's some severe racism when you're willing to give up money for your beliefs.
Yeah.
That's some deep ingrained shit. Like, fuck that money. Get these niggas out my bar.
Like classic. That's like postmodern racism. Like classic racism is like, how can I use these colored people to make me money?
Right.
Like a slave driver.
Right. Like it is.
Fuck money. Get them out.
Wow. I was
second wave racism.
I was driving. We had a new storage place that popped up around here probably 2 years ago. And
just like a self-storage
construction. Yeah.
Right. Sorry,
but for like bigger, like boats and shit. Like he had big indoor storage units. But anyway, outside on Highway 18, he had all this Trump shit. And I'm like, why would you turn away liberal money because of who you vote for? Who the fuck cares? Man, I don't care if you voted for Stalin. Give me your money. Like, who cares? That's some really deep hatred to me. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah. Especially because that would be a pretty conservative person who's supposed to be the capitalist who would put money above all else.
Right.
That's
like you're defeating your own purpose.
That's crazy.
Is that your crazy blind cat?
He's not blind, and this isn't the one. It was a deaf cat, and that was like 6 years ago, dude.
Call you're canceled.
That cat's been dead for years.
When's the last time y'all talked? Has it been a minute?
When did I play at Delavan?
Oh, all right.
That was
earlier this year.
That was this year.
Yeah.
That was only a few months ago, man. You and Brian were there. Wait, were you there with Brian or someone else?
Brian.
Dude, let's get Mario to play Brian Green in the movie.
Oh, that would be the fucking best.
But just do your whole thing, hash it out, and be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, I was scared of Brian Green when I first started.
Why?
I don't know. He just seemed like a mean big brother.
Yeah.
Like he was going to give
scary.
me a twisty at any minute.
Yeah, he was super scary. Well, the atmosphere at the safe house there, when during that time, Tony, the guy who ran it, had a booth in the back, and not everybody was allowed to sit at Tony's booth with Tony. It was Brian sitting next to him, and Michael D was allowed to sit there.
I remember Michael. Yep.
And that was it. And if you got invited to sit at the table, it was like a huge deal. And if you heard Tony with his goofy seal laughing at your set, you knew you were probably. It was like the Carson show. Like if Johnny Carson invited you over to sit down at the desk, it was a huge deal. That's how it was with Tony. It took me months to get invited to sit at the table. And the first time I sat down, Brian's scary ass Green leaned forward and he said, "You're not a fucking rapper. Stop holding the mic so high."
You sound just like him.
You had the mic like this.
Yeah, I would hold it like Eminem. I'd be like,
Hey, he's holding it sideways.
So you got to go that Dimitri Martin shit. Just holding it at the very bottom.
And that's the first thing he said to me was, "You're not a fucking rapper."
That's hilarious. That is some Big Brother shit.
Yeah.
Brian Green's like 9 days older than Dirt, but I still wouldn't want to scrap with his ass. He looks like he put up a fight with his Scatman Crothers looking ass.
Scatman
You got to
Crothers.
make him move. You got to make him move around so he hurts his back.
Yeah,
that's how you beat a dude like that. You got to just move around until he twists the wrong way and fuck his back up.
My hip.
And it's funny. But one thing, it's real quick. It's funny that you mentioned Scatman Crothers because my girlfriend's making me watch The Shining, and he's in that, and that's the second time he's been mentioned in one day, and I haven't heard anything about Scatman Crothers for 20 fucking years. Twice in one day.
You never seen The Shining?
No. Well, I had seen parts of it. That's why she's making me watch it. And
dude, you should do one of those reaction videos, man. Like record yourself reacting to that shit. It'd be great.
I kind of really want to get into stuff like that, man. But I'm just super lazy. I always expect someone to just discover me.
I mean, with that, I can relate because sometimes it's hard to apparently start recording something.
I'm the ideas guy. I'm the ideas guy.
When you watch The Shining, when are you watching it? When are you going to watch it with your girlfriend?
We were watching it when I realized that this podcast was at 12:30 and not at 5 this evening.
Okay. So when you go back to watching it, make sure, I'm assuming that's not nicotine you're sucking on there. So you'll be good and high. You'll be good and high when you watch it. Do yourself this favor when you're watching it. Every time they show Scatman, think of Brian Green. Like imagine that it's Brian Green in there. It'll make the movie 10 times better.
Dude, let's deep fake it. Let's get a cut of it and deep fake his face on that shit.
You don't even have to. You don't even have to deep fake it. When you edit this together,
no, get some 14-year-old. Get some 14-year-old at GameStop to do it. Just walk up to some kid.
Yep. When
you're like, can you swap this face onto this other face? And the kid's like, why? It's the same guy, right? What the fuck are we doing here?
It's the same guy.
Why are you wasting my time, old dude?
Right. When you edit this, Jay, when you edit this, put in a picture as we're saying this part.
Scatman Crothers,
put a picture of Scatman in that movie, and find a picture of Brian Green on his fucking Facebook and put them next to each other. He's the same motherfucker.
Hey, do you remember when he was at Joker's one time and they had his name on the marquee, but it said Brain Green instead of Brian, it said Brain. Do you remember that?
Yeah. That was when you were the house guy at Joker's, right?
Yeah, me and Nola were hosting there. I was there that weekend, though. He was there and it said Brain Green.
Ironically, the last nickname you would ever give Brian Green. Brain.
His Brain. I think that was one of the jokes. Wait, hold on. And a bee just flew in my window. Give me a second. I don't like bees.
No, for sure.
I'm looking for my pistol.
This shit's not just in your waistband? What the hell, dude? Hell.
Wait, it's all lethargic. Hold on. It's like right by my phone.
It's like the U of bees. This lazy bee. Just let it chill.
He's behind my phone right now.
It'd be amazing if he stings you during this podcast. It'd be great content.
Right, I die on live internet or whatever.
Discover a new allergy.
Are you out? Do you live outdoors?
No, wait here.
Fucking Candyman over here. We got Candyman on our podcast. What's up, Tony Todd?
Can you see him?
No, you got that screensaver shit on. It's just a green screen.
I don't know how to change that. I thought you did that.
No,
look, man, I'm old. All right.
Let the bee be.
I didn't even know I could do this. No, I'm cool. I'm lying. Okay, there he is. Hold on.
You could capture it in one of the tin cans you have attached to string for a phone. We roast the ones we love on the show.
I don't see a carcass, so I'll probably fuck that up.
Motherfucker's got a cleaning lady, and he doesn't have a proper setup to do a podcast.
No, hold on. Wait a minute. That's not fair. That's not how that works.
She's called a girlfriend.
There's a lady who comes here and cleans when I call her. That is a cleaning lady. I have a cleaning lady. Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what the fuck that is.
But it's not scheduled. You're more like, oh shit, we just hit.
Right.
To use a Kanye term, DEFCON 3. He said DEFCON, didn't he? It's supposed to be DEFCON.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have a password. When I call her and say the word broccoli, she knows it's time to come clean. And I give her like $50 and she cleans for like 2 hours, and
then the police think that she's selling weed because they're using broccoli for a code word.
Yeah, that's a cleaning lady, dude.
Yeah.
I don't have a cleaning lady. I just have someone that I pay to come in and clean my house.
It sounds so like
bougie.
Yeah, very, very.
Yeah.
The question is, are you using a white maid?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Of course.
Fuck yes. I gotta say, if I was a brother, dude, I would totally be having white maids and yard boys and shit. Like,
right. You missed the spot. You missed the fucking spot.
Hey, Chad.
Hey, Toby. Pick it up.
What was I gonna say about her? Oh, dude, sometimes she does like weird, quirky stuff. Like I told her she didn't have to go into my bedroom. Don't even worry about that. She cleans like the front room, the kitchen, and the bathroom. But every once in a while, she'll wander into the bedroom. And like one time, she paired my socks and like matched them and bought. I don't match my socks. I just throw them all in the drawer.
Dig. Make it like part of my life of just having.
Dude, I came home and she had cleaned up. I'm like, okay. And then like 2 days later, I opened the drawer to my socks and they're all balled up. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh shit, there's that beat. Hold on. Oh shit. Oh. Wait, hold on. There he is. There he is.
Throw me my slippers.
Oh.
Get it with a house shoe.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually. All right. All right, I got him.
God, I love having comics on here.
I got him.
You should have to have gone on stage one time to be on our show.
I have a question, Mario.
Yes.
So regarding your this crazy bitch paired your socks story, it was 2 days later that you went in to get a fresh pair of socks.
Well, okay, no. That's not.
Could have been summer flip-flops.
If you must know, when I do my laundry, I just leave the shit in the dryer until I wear it. So I had socks in the dryer. When I ran out of dryer socks, I went to the drawer.
Dryer socks. Dryer socks need replenishing. Have to do another load.
Dude, I'm losing my mind, bro. Hey, Gull, did I tell you about my sleepwalking incident?
Oh, shit. You're about to.
What happened?
Dude, one night I woke up in the parking lot completely. This is an honest to God truth. This happened to me.
The parking lot of your apartment?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Standing at my door to my car in nothing but my boxers, trying to get in my car. And what woke me up was my feet were cold. I was like, why? I thought they were wet. I said, why are my feet wet? I looked down and I was like, why am I not wearing any shoes? And then I was like, why am I not wearing any clothes? What am I doing outside? What the fuck? Right? I'm freaking out.
Holy shit.
So I wasn't drunk, dude. I wasn't high. I like literally just came to, and I was standing at the door trying to open the door to my car.
That's some alien abduction shit.
Yes. Listen. So
did your ass
I'm going
hurt?
like, fuck it. I'm gonna go back into the apartment. I walk up the stairs.
More than normal.
I locked the door. I locked myself out, bro, in my boxers.
Oh shit.
So clearly I was going somewhere, right?
No phone, probably.
No, dude, my boxers, nothing, literally nothing else. Dick hanging out, just like, what the fuck, right? So I go across the street to the bar.
Of course. Why wouldn't you? Where you have a tab and don't need a wallet.
Right. And one of the bartenders has my spare key because she's around when I get deliveries a lot. So
genius.
I called her. She had to come and let me in.
Oh my God. Oh, that's hilarious. Holy shit.
And then someone said, is that the first time you've done that? And I was like, I don't know.
Right?
Like, what if I've done it a million times, but was successful last time? And you know what? To be honest with you, a lot of times I will wake up in the morning and say to myself, "Let me wash these dishes before I go to work." And I walk in the kitchen, and the kitchen is clean. I have no recollection of doing it.
Whoa!
So I'm
that
losing my
crazy
mind,
cleaner
bro.
you're snuck in the middle of the night. Clean
Right.
shit.
Wait. That's not even the weirdest one. The weirdest one, and Gull, I have proof of this. I will send you a picture of what I'm about to tell you. One night I woke up, it was like bar time, and I was like, all right, let me get ready for bed. I looked down on the coffee table, and there's a bar of soap wrapped in a towel, like a little hand towel wrapped around a bar of soap. So I pick it up.
Full Metal Jacket shit.
There's a bite mark in the soap. Like someone took a bite out of it. Wait.
Bro, you need to record yourself while you sleep and see what the hell's going on.
Wait. So for like 2 seconds ago, I swear to God, I was like, who the fuck came in here and bit this brand new bar of soap? So I'm looking around, dude, I'm checking the door, I'm looking for evidence of an intruder. And then I looked at it, I was like, that looked like my teeth. So I went to the bathroom, and like some old episode of like Forensic Files, I held it up to my face, and it was a perfect match.
Damn. So you're having some vestigial dream of having your mouth washed out with soap for cussing when you were a kid or some shit?
Or something.
What the fuck?
Dude, I'll send you the picture, Go, when we're done with this.
God,
wait, let me see if I can do that. Hold on.
Right
Let me see if I can do that right now.
While you're doing that, did either of y'all ever actually have your mouth washed out with soap when you were a kid?
Yes, I have.
Dude,
I did not.
That's like torture.
Wait,
like CIA torture. That shit's awful, dude.
Should I send it like Messenger?
Yeah. Send it to me in Messenger.
Here it is, right here. All right, hold on. Dude, you're gonna flip out, bro. When you see this, you're gonna flip out. Hold on, here it comes. I'm gonna send it to both of y'all.
Yeah, send it to Jim.
Sweet. And then I'll put it up on the screen.
Oh, there you go. I just
for the 11. Speaking of which, like and subscribe, motherfuckers. We got 11 subscribers. I know we're new, but dude, that is crazy.
Are you looking at it?
Yeah. Have you not considered like getting this shit like explored medically, like some sleep studies?
Dude, I'm losing my mind, bro.
Oh my God. Dude.
What the fuck? What is that?
You got to start seeing if you can open for Mike Birbiglia some sleepwalking shit. The sleepwalking tour.
That's crazy.
Dude, sometimes I wake up and there's like a box of cereal in the bed, or like sometimes I wake up and the door's unlocked.
Dude. Yikes.
You got to start checking your odometer like Ferris Bueller's buddy's dad with that fucking Ferrari, and make sure, because you get up in the morning, you're like, oh shit, I drove like 12 miles last night.
Where's
like,
12 miles, right?
Yes.
I'm like Moon Knight. I'm some secret serial killer.
You got the hood and shit.
Yeah, you're doing something. It's some quantum leap shit or some fucking alien shit.
Dude,
or you're a serial killer.
What if it's been happening for years and that was the first time I fucked it up?
Yeah. It sounds like it, maybe. You just forgot your keys.
I forgot my pants. Hey, when I went across the street to the bar, I actually didn't have to go in. Excuse me. I didn't have to go in because before I got into the parking lot, the bartender chick and her husband and another guy, she goes, "Mario?" And then the guy started laughing. And then she's like, "Are you okay?" And I said, I'm like this. I locked myself out. Can you please call Jessica? And I just turned around and walked away. No context.
They thought he escaped from the Get Out house and shit.
Oh my God.
Bro, that could have been like super bad.
That's crazy. You're
That's
like
insane.
One of Dahmer's victims, just out half naked, stumbling around.
Like, what if it had been after bar time, like at 4?
Yeah.
You'd be in jail right now. Because you live out in fucking Trumpville and shit, don't you?
Oh shit.
It's weird out here. Like, they'll have all the signs out and shit, but when you talk to them at the bar, they act like they don't know who he is.
Go figure.
No, don't switch it from Fox because I'm in here.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. This soap thing is my life. That's going to be my new fucking profile picture on every social media.
That's our new podcast
Dude,
logo.
can you imagine that? Like, okay, this is what I also think has been happening. I've never lived by myself for any stretch of time. This is the first time I've lived by myself. I was married for a long time. I always had a roommate or girlfriend. You know, I'd have a couple months in between, but I think I've been here for like 7 years now, 6 or 7 years. And this is the only time I realized I've been sleepwalking, because I know no one else did the shit.
Right. It's unequivocal. You're sleepwalking, dude.
It had to be me. Right. That's just crazy. Dude, sometimes the laundry is done. I'll get up, the laundry is done. And I was going to do it before I went to work, and it's fucking done. It's in the dryer already. Done.
After hearing that, my wife is like Googling how to make your husband become a sleepwalker and do chores in the middle of the night. It's crazy. Dude, you gotta be careful, dude. Start sleeping in a Kevlar vest, so when some neighbor stands my grounds your ass and shoots you for walking around in your boxers, you at least have the
I'm
Kevlar.
gonna pour some flour on the floor before I go to bed so I can see if I'm walking around at night.
Yeah. If just so you don't feel bad about doing the fucked up shit, I'll give you a sleepwalking story. The one sleepwalking story that ever happened to me. And we're circling back to Brian fucking Green again. This was like 3 years ago, maybe. Brian and I were going up to play, and it was the dead of winter, and we were going up to play Harris, Michigan. Have you done that room, Mario?
I've done
the Island Resort.
Yeah, I've done the Island Resort.
Yeah,
Is that the one? Yeah.
We're the one with where the stage is really high. It's like a big
It's got the dispensary in the parking lot, right?
I don't know. I didn't spend any time in the parking lot.
I was telling him that story before you came on. That was the first dispensary I've ever been to.
Oh wow.
But, yeah, go ahead.
So we were driving up there, and it was a Sunday afternoon because it's a Sunday night gig. And it was that day where the snowstorm was so bad, the snow was going sideways. And there were just cars, trucks, and everything on the side of the road and everything. And we were driving in my Lexus. And we were so afraid. We ended up turning around, calling Joe Sanfilippo and saying, we're not going to fucking Michigan today. We got about as far as Sheboygan. And we turned around. But it was so scary and so traumatic. And we had to ride. It was so slippery that, on the side of the highway, they have that ribbed part for when you're too drunk and you fade off and you go,
it's called a rumble strip.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always wondered.
You know that thing?
We got an expert on noise.
Oh yeah, Mr. Makes the Roads guy should know.
So what are those city titties or whatever technically called?
So we had to ride on that.
Those, maybe they don't have them here. They're like the half dome reflectors they have, like down in Virginia and shit. They had them a lot.
Oh, the lane markers.
Sure.
Yeah,
but they're in the road. Yeah, we don't have those here.
All right.
Yeah. So we had to ride on the ribbed for her pleasure part of the fucking highway, doing like 15 miles an hour for real. Like I had the car back down in like third gear.
Damn.
Where you can't go more than like 20. And it took us like 4 hours to get back from Sheboygan. And we were so scared. We went to this bar that was like a block from his house, and we just fucking had to drink. And later that night, I apparently, according to Carrie, got up, said I had to go to the bathroom, and promptly went into her home office, took out my dick, and pissed on the floor of the office. And I have no recollection of this. Just took a full piss on the floor.
Did she like wake up and catch you doing it?
I have no recollection of this.
Did she catch you in the act?
Yeah.
I think that's more of a blackout situation. Like,
yeah, that's a drinking. Because I was going to say,
I wasn't drunk. All
right. Well, you just doing the bar part. So.
Well, we didn't get drunk at the bar. We had to immediately go to a bar and have a drink.
That was the
No, you imply y'all got fucked up. Don't let him off that.
No,
easy.
we didn't get fucked up. I was
surprised.
Because I was already scared to drive, so I'm not going to drive drunk.
That happened to. Let me see. Do you know Mick Lazinski? Mick Lazinski
and I. Fucking name.
Yeah, that's a great stage name, man. I never forget his name when I was introducing him. He, myself, and you remember a girl I was dating, Kathy, right? We'd gone up to Upper Michigan and did a show at one of the casino rooms, and we had another show in Duluth, Minnesota. So we were going to shoot up to Michigan, do that show, shoot across to Duluth, and then back down towards Milwaukee. And on the way to Duluth, we ran into this fucking snowstorm, dude. We literally had to stop and get a room. We just got one room and just went in there and fucking crashed out until it stopped snowing. It was that dangerous. Like, we couldn't see any fucking thing.
Wow.
So we're all in one room, me and my girlfriend, and Mick is in the other bed. So I got to take a shit, right? I don't want to shit in a hotel room with Mick Lazinski and my girlfriend in it. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to go see if I can go find like a public restroom somewhere, like in the pool area or something, right?
So it's so absurd, so human. Fucking love it. Go.
So I walked, right. You have to hear the backstory. It doesn't sound so weird when you hear the backstory. So I walked down to the pool area. Everything's closed. It's fucking 3 a.m. or whatever. And as I'm coming back, I see this room with the door open. Like the door's ajar, maybe a foot.
Tell me you went in,
dude. I went in. I turned around and made sure no one was looking, and I backed in, right? So I was all the way in the room. I closed the door, like how you turn the knob and then push it up and then release the knob so it doesn't make that noise. And I turned around, dude, there's an entire family asleep in this room. Dude, there's a dad, a mom, and 2 kids asleep in this room. So I did not take a shit.
Oh my God.
He's like, so I upper decked him.
I took a shit and didn't flush.
Right. A shit on mom's chest.
Dude, that's creepy. Like they have no idea.
Did you go back and just shit in your own room? Did you?
I don't think I think the shit went away after that.
It just crawled back up.
It just crawled back up.
Shit. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Oh my
There's
God.
a family somewhere in the Midwest that had a black dude standing in their room, and they have no idea.
Yeah,
that's what they get for going to bed with the door open. Way to protect.
Why was the door open? Dude, this is what I thought. I thought that the room was vacant and like someone who was supposed to clean it. That's why it was open. I thought it was vacant. So,
oh my God.
Backing in is a strange choice, though. Backing in, like, who knows who's in there?
No, it just happened like that because I turned to see that to make sure no one was looking at me as I went into the room.
Director, all right.
Yeah.
It was more like, is the coast clear kind of thing.
Right, and then when I turned around, I'm like,
oh, dude, that is hilarious.
He's like Adam West Batman trying to get rid of that bomb, just running from place to place.
Hey, I was literally like, of course those are people. Like in my mind, I'm like, of course that's a family of people in this room you just walked into, you stupid motherfucker.
Dude, if you like accidentally like knock something over exiting that room, your entire life would be so different right now.
Or if they had like a dog or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did, but the dumbasses left the door open, so now they don't have a dog anymore.
Right. Or
you ran it over while you were sleep driving one night.
Oh, one of the kids wakes up and screams. Oh my God.
Oh,
you're done, dude. You're like arrested. That shit's on your record. Like, and like, how do you explain it? Like, dude, I want to see like the police interrogation, like the true crime of this shit. They're interrogating you, and you're like, look, you ever have to take a shit, but you only been dating the girl like 2 weeks.
Right. And there's a guy in the room. Like, what are you gonna do? I hate that when you have shit that happens and then the cops show up.
So even what if she was not there and it was just Mick Lazinski? I'm terrible with names these days, but that's so good.
Yeah, that was you said it right. I think it was more.
If it was just him, would you? Yeah, okay. Because I tell you, I hate shitting in public, dude. I don't know what it is. Like I will hold that shit.
Dude, I'm a shy pooper.
I can't
poop. I have to poop at home. It's got to be at home. I can't do it nowhere else unless it's
Are
a
you
fucking
piss shy
emergency.
too? Do you have pissing
No,
problems in public?
I'll pee at a bus stop. I don't give a fuck about that.
Will and have.
Yep, at a mailbox. I'll stand at a mailbox like I'm ruminating over some shit, pissing like a motherfucker, and just drift away.
I'm a German Shepherd with pissing.
I'm trying to be discreet here, but there's a period of your history where shitting in private was probably not very possible.
That's probably where I got that from.
How you grew up?
No, I was in prison for a while in a cell with one guy. Yeah.
So you really would have been fucked if they found you in that room. Was that before or after? Would that have been like
that was before. That was before. I was on. I don't think I may have still been on parole at that time.
Dude, I'm fascinated by prison and the prison experience. I watch those days, like 6 shows, like 60 days in and shit. Like, oh my God, dude. Like, how much are you down to talk about this shit?
I don't give a fuck. That happened. That was a long time ago.
He posts about it jokingly on fucking Facebook.
I love you, dude.
Like,
comedians are the best.
Having been in prison, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we did do some.
That's where the bite of soap came from, right? The prison shit.
Wow.
I'm reporting a drink while you recover from that one. No, for real though, man. I mean, I don't know if you want to go into details of what you did to land there and shit, but just the daily life of being in prison. I'm always into like first moments. I was going to ask earlier, do you remember your first time you went on stage to open mic or whatever, what that was like? Talk about the feeling it invokes. But 2, the first day you go into the yard, like the fucking fresh fish and Shawshank type shit. Like, talk about these moments, dude.
The process of getting there was scarier than the actual setting. You know, all the stories you hear.
Interesting.
Sitting in the county jail, going through your court process, and then getting found guilty or whatever, or pleading guilty and getting processed into the prison system. That part was scary. But once you got there, it's just a bunch of regular dudes. You got some weirdos, you know, you got some psychopaths, but most of them are just regular dudes that fucked up selling weed or some shit.
So you weren't like max security, like with murders.
I was in. Oh my God, I got so many stories, bro. I was in max for 5 years.
Damn.
Between Green Bay and Waupun, and then I was in Racine for like 2 years. Racine Correctional. That's a medium. And then I was at this place out by Madison called Oak Hill Correctional. I think it's still there, but they have a fence now. When I was there was no fence. It was just like these cabins. So there were many times when I was just in a room with a guy in an 8x10, just, you know, there's no privacy at all. So I think that's probably where I got that.
The shit shy thing from.
Yeah. But you were asking me like the first time. Oh yeah.
Well, the whole experience, because it's crazy. It is, like you said, mostly regular dudes, because you watch a show like 60 Days In or some shit, which if people don't know, it's like volunteer to go into like a max security prison for like 60 days undercover to help the prison, I guess, work out whatever issues they have with security and contraband and shit. But those shows is like 10 hours of 60 days. You took 60 days, edited down to 10 hours. It looks like insane all the time because they're showing you the 10 craziest hours. Right. Exactly. So most of it's just downtime, people chilling, you know. Now it depends on what kind of politics they allow on the cell block. Like when it gets real racially divided and shit, then you get more static problems. Did you see a lot of that? Was it like the woods and the fucking?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was very clicky, very like when I was in Green Bay, I was 19. I was there for 3 years. That was the first max I was in. And that was like the first night there, that was probably the worst night because that whole time I had been going to different places. Like, okay, now I got to go here. Now I got to go there. Now I was at my final destination and the lady she shut the bars and walked away. And like, that was it. Like, you're done for now. That was scary. I definitely cried that night. That was scary. I knew I wasn't going anywhere for the rest of that night. That was really scary. And there's always something happening, but you're not always involved. Like there's always somebody fighting about some bullshit. Every once in a while, somebody will get stabbed. There was never any rape or nothing. That shit was all consensual. Every
but
once
just
in a
the
while,
fact you're like every once in a while someone gets stabbed. Like to the average person, like a stabbing would be like the most horrific shit they ever witnessed in their life, and you're lucky you don't ever see something like that, you know. But to kind of be like, you know, it happened. That just shows
you see some crazy things just because it's such a close proximity. Like you know everyone damn near. So when something happens, you know about it, or you're there when it happens.
Witness, yeah.
You know, so I've seen a lot of stuff.
Did you ever mix it up with anybody, or you just were cool and laid back? I bet making
jail,
people laugh probably helped a lot in there, didn't it?
Well, I wasn't a comedian. And before that, that's probably what made me want to do comedy, because I realized how easy that was to just like manipulate people, like distract them with humor.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. So it helped you in there, and you're like, I could do this shit. I could go out and get on stages and do it. Yeah.
And right when I got out, that was when I went and did the first show at the National Comedy Club. That was my first time doing it. I had been out of prison maybe like a month, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go try.
It's like an origin story, dude, for a superhero. Wow. It's fucking great. What was that like then to go from 5 years you were there? You said
7 years and 10 months.
That's a fucking stretch, dude. So
what was scarier? What was scarier? First night in prison or first time going up?
Dude, going on stage is easy.
Okay. But because you had been to prison.
Probably. Like, what are they going to do to me? They can't do nothing to me.
It's like, veterans who've been in war, they're like, pff.
Right, exactly. Like the worst they could do is not laugh. And that was easy because I know I was funny. And I know how to entertain people and what people think is funny.
Did you do prison material?
I have like one or two.
Were you just like, I just got out a month ago after doing, like, that'd be a crazy way to open a fucking act.
Oh, like, well,
no, open micer?
No, I don't think I actually talked about anything that happened to me in prison until I told somebody something that happened in prison. I think it was Liza Marie. I was just
in another comics like you got to mine that shit.
Yeah. And she's like, how come you don't talk about that on stage? And I was like, oh, I don't know.
That's gold.
I don't do a lot of stuff about prison. I don't even know why. Because a lot of it is very interesting and funny.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I've only heard you do over the years a couple of bits where it's not even so much about being in prison. It's just the backdrop of a funny
it just happens
interaction story. Yeah.
Dude, you could probably do a sick hour set themed on that though and fucking crush it. Sprinkling in little serious and potent moments and shit.
I remember one bit I remember from the beginning, like from National Comedy Club early on at the Safe House. I don't remember the details of it. So if you remember it, please do it right now. But it had to do with a popsicle, like you doing an act out of eating ice cream or a popsicle or some shit.
Oh, that joke is so lame. I know what you're talking about. I liked that joke at first because it would get a reaction out of people, but it was kind of vulgar, and I don't know. I guess I didn't want to be seen as a vulgar comic. Like some people were really offended. This one lady came up to me after a show at Joker. She was like, "You were very, very funny, but don't do that popsicle joke anymore."
Dude, what is it? I gotta know. You can't leave me. This is like the 2-foot salami and Breakfast Club and shit. The poodle and the salami.
All right. So the joke was how girls get offended when you are excited watching them eat like phallic things, like a popsicle cone or, you know. So I mime that on stage, like I'm licking the microphone like a popsicle. And I was like, what if they had popsicles shaped like female genitalia? Like it would be the same. So then I stand there with my fingers like this, and I'm like licking in between, and you know, like that. So yeah,
some blue hair comes up to you. Don't do that joke. Like, oh, that's solid.
Hey, at least you prefaced it with like, you were very funny. However,
I love those. I love when they come up after that. Oh, I loved you. Don't say retard anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like,
I have
fuck
a
off,
nephew
retard.
with Down syndrome. You shouldn't say retarded.
You're like, yeah, and he has an aunt with
Exactly.
Down syndrome. Shut the fuck up, retard.
That's exactly how it was too. Like you were like I could picture her laughing the whole entire show, and then me doing that bit, and then her just being so brokenhearted and disappointed. Like, oh, this guy was funny up until that moment, but now I don't like him anymore. Like, oh, that just irked me. I'll stop doing it right after that. I don't think
It
I
was
ever
the cunnilingus that did it. She was cool with the flesh.
That's what it was, right? And she was cool with all the black jokes, all of that shit. But as soon as I did that, she was afraid.
Hey, vaginas, nope.
Here's a question I was going to ask off of that. What's the joke that you guys remember from early on that did really well that you're most ashamed of now that it did well? Like some pandering to the crowd type cheap laugh shit that you knew wasn't a good joke, but they loved it. Do you got one of them? Either of you?
Sometimes you do like filler stock jokes when you're like lost or you want to stall for time, but I don't have any. That's probably the only one, that popsicle one, because I would do a lot of rowdy rooms and they would all eat that shit up. But that one lady, man, she just, and I was thinking to myself, man, if my mom was here, she would say the same thing, you know? So I don't know.
Yeah, but I think comedy's like they say, you got to write like everyone's dead. If you're a writer, you got to be like that with comedy, right? You can't think about your mom when you're fucking putting your
I don't know.
together.
I think it depends, man. I think you can tell the same story in different ways.
That's interesting.
Like you don't have to be. I could have told that
without
story
the act out
different. I didn't without that part. Like I could have just implied that, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of the juice sometimes. That's what makes it funny. Just how you do that. You know what I mean? If you get sloppy with it and shit and just push it.
That's what I was ashamed of. Yeah. Like I know I had to do that to get the response I wanted. Right.
I was always ashamed when you did that bit because it made me question my you made me confused in my lady bits.
In your lady parts.
Nice. For those who don't know, Gull is a hermaphrodite, so he's allowed to insult whoever the fuck he wants. No one talks about. Do hermaphrodites exist anymore?
Wait, Kate.
Did they disappear?
Yeah, right. Can you even say that word anymore?
I don't know if they exist. I think our doctors like making you pick at birth, and that's why we have all this trans shit.
I think maybe it's just we use the term transgender instead of hermaphrodite.
No, but hermaphrodite literally has like both genitalia, or at least some developed part of both. And I think what's happening is a lot of doctors at birth are like, "Are we going boy or girl here?" And
I don't know. I don't want to talk about this anymore, though.
You don't want to get canceled?
Y'all go ahead.
I just like the word hermaphrodite.
It is a great word.
It sounds like a Greek god or something.
It sounds like you're a server at a Greek restaurant.
I am hermaphrodites.
Right. It's not even a girl. It's just a handsome dude.
If Aphrodite was trans, dude, yes. It's like Usain Bolt.
Aphrodite.
Yes. Hermes and Aphrodite had a trans kid. Hermaphrodite.
You guys go ahead.
Well, no one gets offended for them. They're fair game. That's what I'm saying. It's fucked up.
Dude, everybody gets offended.
In answer to your question about a bit that we were ashamed of.
This hermaphrodite bit.
Most of what I did for the first 3 years was just with the aim of shock. Some of it had funny to it, but most of it was just there to get a reaction. Because I was a huge student of Sam Kinison and Bill Hicks. And shit like that.
I can see that in your set. I can see that in your set.
I was trying to be Hicks.
Dude, Hicks is a goat, dude.
I used to do this bit about how it's a huge deal when you see a midget out in public and you never see one.
I remember that.
And they're not real. They grow them on a ranch in LA and they put them in movies and shit. But if you see one, you got to call a buddy up. Hey man, I'm at the bank. I just saw a midget. It's really fucking cool. I did a thing about how retarded guys are allowed to hug hot girls and no one thinks anything of it.
Joe Biden should use that defense.
And that they're just kind of faking it so they can rub up on nice titties and shit all the time. And it was, I was just trying to.
Dude, this shit sounds fun. Call me a dick, but I'm laughing over here.
Hey, I was the same dude for a long time ago. I was afraid of having you at that room because I thought you were too edgy. I thought you were too edgy for them. I remember telling you too, like, fucker, you got to calm that shit down, man. Don't come up in there with that bullshit.
That room is perfect for me. That is, I've had one bad experience there, but it was an overall great show, and everybody loved it except for the woman that I made cry. This was like 4 years ago at Delavan, at the End Zone in Delavan, which Mario Robinson books and hosts.
Nice. I gotta go out there one night.
It was that bit, and Jason Hillman is part of this story too.
Oh shit!
Oh my god, he's a goat too. He's from the old school.
Fuck yeah! So
we gotta get him on here, dude. Anyway,
he wouldn't do it. He can't stand it. He would never fucking do it.
That's the reason he'd do it.
He would totally do it. Jason would totally do this.
So I was at the End Zone, and the set's going really well, and I did this bit about trans people.
Okay.
And a woman in the audience, I made her cry. Do you remember that, Mario? I fucking made this woman cry. And I kept going. I went harder after I saw that she was crying. And then the end of it came. And the next day, we were shooting a scene for Cactus Jack. And the documentary filmmaker originally was cast. Jason Hillman had that role. So I picked him up. We went to the set, to Jay's house. And I was talking about my show the night before, how I made a bitch cry talking about trans people. And Hillman got so worked up and so upset he had to leave, and he walked around Jason's neighborhood to like calm down and to settle down. I got him so
he was triggered,
offended, and so upset. And he obviously then didn't play the guy in the movie. But driving him home after that was super, super awkward.
Oh man, I have a story a lot like that where you have that awkward drive with Jason Hillman. I wonder how many comics have had that drive.
That's a new feature on our show a little bit. Like, what was your awkward drive with Jason Hillman? Tell us.
What was yours?
Let's hear it.
Man, we had it was me, Jason Hillman, some of the younger kids at that time that they're all gone now. Who else? Chow Fang was with us, I believe. It was like four of us besides me. It was four other comics besides me and Jason Hillman. We had just got this new room. It was our first show there. We had been recommended. It wasn't a lot of people, but it was like a birthday party. Like this guy had brought maybe like 8 people, and there was a couple other stragglers. So it was probably like 12 to 15 people there. And let's see, I went up. I was the host. I introduced a couple comics. Then I brought up Jason. Jason was the headliner, and he was supposed to do 30 minutes. So I brought him up. I went out. Everything was going well. The birthday dude was kind of drunk. He was a little loud, but everyone was having fun. They're all with him anyway. They're all having fun.
Right.
So I'm outside. I lit a cigarette. I'm like pleased with myself for getting this new room. I'm thinking about all the people I can book here, what's going to happen in the future. And fucking, damn, who was that came outside? The young dude. I forgot who he was. He came outside. He goes, I think you need to go back inside. I said, why? He said, just go and look. So I go in there, dude. They're face to face on stage, Jason and the drunk dude. They're face to face, like, what are you gonna do? What are you like? They're about to fight, dude. Like, dude, I was outside. I was outside like 3 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck happened? So Jason goes storming off. The dudes call him all kind of names and shit. Everyone's booing, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? I was outside for 90 fucking seconds, and they're like, go up there, go finish. Go up there and finish. Like I had to fill like 45 minutes. I think I did like 20 minutes, and I was like, man, let's. So I go in there. Everyone's in the car waiting, right? I go in there to talk to the lady. I tell her, hey, I know it was bad, blah, blah, blah. I don't expect to be paid. I'm sorry, maybe we can work some in the future. And she was mad, dude. Like, of course she wasn't going to pay me, but I just preempted that, I made it easy for her.
Did you find out what the static was?
The guy was just talking during Jason's set.
He was just heckling and shit. And Jason wasn't
not
having
even
it.
Bad heckling, just talking, just being drunk and belligerent, not like you suck type shit, just interrupting. But everyone's laughing, like, dude. That's kind of what this led up to. I get in the car after talking to her, and everyone's in the car, and we're driving, and Jason goes, so do we get paid? I said, no, Jason. No, Jason, we didn't get paid. And like the whole drive, everyone's like quiet. Someone's in the back cracking jokes about it, like imitating Jason. So did we get paid? Oh my god, dude. And that was from we were down in Beloit, so that was a good drive.
Well, let me ask you this:
down there. That was an awkward drive.
When you're booking a show, and even if you're just a comedian who goes on a show like Hillman did there, do you got to kind of take into account what kind of show it is? And if it's this dude's birthday and he's kind of drunk, do you just let him steal the scene on his birthday? Or are you like, as a comic, fuck you.
As
the
a
stage
comic,
is sacred. You don't interrupt my shit ever. I don't care what the gig is.
And look, as a comic, you have to be able to improvise. Your goal is to entertain these people. I don't care if you do fucking balloon animals. Do your fucking time and make people laugh. You don't have, no one cares if you do your set.
Right.
You know, sometimes I go, right.
And they might not even remember your set, but they're like, that Jason Hillman guy, I remember him. I had a great night that night.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you can come back and you still got this whole set you never even got to do the first time because you had such great crowd interaction, crowd work. I love that shit, man. I love crowd work. That feels a lot of my time because I have been hosting for so long. That's like a natural part of my set is just like talking to people, finding out where they work and their birthdays and stuff. And
I feel like for years there was like this thing where comics, at least me as an observer who loves comedy and watches even interviews and shit with comedians, where a lot of comics would look down upon crowd work, like it's easy and whatever, and you're not even writing material. But I feel like with like Andrew Schultz and Mark Norman and dudes like that, they're putting out on social media just crowd work bits. Like it's a renaissance right now for crowd work, and they're crushing.
TJ Miller's good too.
Yeah, it's some of the funniest shit. It's just crowd work.
Anytime anyone ever criticizes comics who jump to crowd work, I always advise them to go see Chris Barnes live.
Oh my God, that dude is the god of crowd work.
Yeah, yeah. He's playing in West Bend on New Year on December 30th. Is he a Wisconsin guy? Oh fuck yeah!
I don't think I've seen or even heard of this dude.
Man, he is the Wisconsin guy.
Yeah,
oh really?
He's fucking amazing.
Wisconsin tapped in, but
Carrie and I got tickets for his show on December 30th in West Bend at the West Bend Theater. We're very excited to see him. Barnes is a fucking god.
I did a show with him maybe a month ago.
Oh really? Oh yeah, with Glenn Gerard, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it was a weird setup. We were like standing in the corner of a room. Like there was no stage. There was no spotlight or nothing. You're just standing in a corner of the bar. The door's over here, you know, but everyone's paying attention. It's probably 100 people. They're all paying attention. I opened for him, dude. I probably did like a C-. I did okay, but I had to work for it. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you go up there and it's just easy. It happens. Oh, I killed. Then there's times when you have to work for it and they have a good time, but they don't know how hard you had to work for it for them to, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was one of those times where you feel shitty, but they had a good time. And man, he gets up there and fucking, dude, I'm outside and they had the speaker outside. I'm out there smoking, like mulling over, like crying like a little bitch. And he's in there fucking killing, dude. Like he's remembering shit that someone said in my set. And he's bringing that shit back around.
Nice.
And by the end of the show, dude, he's got this whole story involving like 8 people in the audience. Dude, it's amazing to watch him do that.
Yeah, like, he's unreal.
They're like true performers, though. Like you, were either of you in like high school or even elementary plays and shit? Or like, I know you were in bands, Gull, so.
All of the plays. I was a little theater kid.
What about you though, Mario? Were you like, look at me, or is that something that came later when you're like, I'm gonna go on stage because that's just the venue for doing what you wanted to do, but you're not a performer, you know? Gull's a attention-hungry whore.
I used to be like a class clown until I don't remember when I stopped. I think high school. It's I started to become socially awkward in high school, but before that, like in middle school and stuff, I was a class clown.
It's almost the perfect recipe for a comedian, though. A clown and social awkwardness.
You know what it was? I went to high school with Marlon Hill. He was in my homeroom the first day of school, and usually I was the one cracking all the jokes. And it immediately occurred to me that this dude was way funnier than me, and like he shut me down for the whole time I was in high school. I was like quiet and shy. because he was so much funnier than me. He was the guy.
He's another one that's ridiculous. I did a show with him at the theater that's it's a theater, and I forget what it's called, but it's like right off of Wells or something like that downtown. It's a pretty nice sized theater.
Oh, I haven't been to that room yet. I heard about that room. I haven't been there yet.
There was a show that happened that Eric Vaughn put on, obviously before he passed. And Marlon Hill was the headliner. Chastity Washington and Marlon Hill and I did the show, and I did it all as Claude LeBlanc, the finest comedian in all of France. And
also a member of the Illuminati, by the way.
I was literally the only Caucasian in the building. And it was the fucking best show I've ever been a part of in my life. It was unbelievable. George Kuntz from the Packers was there.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Because his wife is the sister of Eric Vaughn's wife. You know who Eric Vaughn was?
You asking me?
No, I remember that name. I can't remember that face though.
He was a really popular radio guy here in town. He was a really well-known.
What station?
It's the radio station that was on 35th and Capitol.
Tell you the physical address.
It was a Black AM station, Black AM talk station.
I know you're talking about
1295 or
1290. 1290.
Yeah. Eric Vaughn was like the guy from that station.
Yeah, I know. I remember that name. I don't think I've ever met him though.
Oh, he was just the sweetest fucking guy. He died a few years back of a heart attack, but yeah, he was married to Faith Colas, who was the host of Black Nouveau, the PBS show.
Mm-hmm.
And her sister is married to George Kuntz. And so he was there and they were there, and it was this whole the show was just amazing. And they ate it up. Like, I was terrified. I've always loved doing like work at in front of all black crowds. That's my shit. I love that.
Hey, that's one thing
as the French guy, it was fucking terrifying.
Right. That's going out on a limb.
With one thing about Jason Hillman, dude, he fucking kills in front of urban crowds.
Really?
Black girls love Jason Hillman. Dude,
he's an ally.
I've seen him seduce an entire dude. I would go up and do like 7 minutes and totally fucking bomb. Like, no one's paying attention to me. No one believes me that I've been in prison. I'm all square and shit. So none of the jokes have any weight. He comes up there and he murders for like 12 minutes. And like, people are standing up and clapping. And I think he got laid like 5 times. It was fucking crazy.
Nice.
Did we get paid? No, but you got laid. Shut the fuck
up. Oh, they were buying, you know what I mean? Like, they were buying them drinks and, oh, dude, I was so mad. I was literally mad at them for that.
You know what's hilarious from the sound of it? When you go in front of black audiences, they don't believe that you've been to prison. But when you go in front of white audiences, they probably just assume you've been to prison.
Dude, I'm the most dangerous person in this town.
Well, I mean, walking around in your underwear at 3 a.m. and shit. So
at 3 a.m., no one said a word. Hey, no one said shit.
And all your neighbors in the neighborhood, you're the most dangerous guy in town, but they all just know you as, oh, there's one that lives over there, but he's cool.
Right.
Is that Mario out there naked?
So they know
get away from the window.
Yeah.
Get away from the window. Oh, wait, I did have one incident here where this guy called me the N-word in anger.
What?
Okay,
I mean, if you said it joking, fine, but in anger.
No, dude.
I'm kidding.
Bro, I almost had to kill this dude. I was sitting in here. It was probably 3 in the morning. It was like a little after bar time. Like, everyone's gone. Like, it's over now. I hear some dude in my hallway up and down the stairs talking loud and shit. It sounds like more than one person. So I look out the window and I see this white guy. He's out. He's knocking over garbage cans and shit, just walking around the street, looking at his phone, fucking with his phone. Then he's in the hallway again. So I go out there, I grab my phone, I walk down there. I'm like, are you okay? Like, I walk outside. I'm like, you good, man? You need me to call somebody for you? And he's immediately belligerent, like, fuck you, man. I'm not bothering you. I'm not bothering you. Leave me alone. I'm like, whoa, dude, you are kind of bothering me. You're stomping up and down my stairs at 3 in the morning. He goes, man, I used to live here, man. Leave me alone. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna call the cops. Dude, I've never in my life called the police on anyone.
Right.
Never.
That's like against the code, right?
It's right. I was like, all right, this is that one time, he might just need some help. I wasn't even mad at him,
Or he's like there to kill his ex-girlfriend. I used to live here and shit.
Right.
That's sketchy.
Right. The girl who lived here before. So I call the police. I'm on the phone with the police, and I hear him say, who do you think they're gonna believe? Me or some bald old nigger? And I hung up the phone. I don't know why I did this. It was a cell phone. I hung it up and I dropped it on the ground. I walked up to him. I said, what did you say to me? And you could see in his face that he realized that he had crossed a line, kind of.
Remember that Chappelle show shit? And that's when he knew.
He fucked up, right? But he doubled down. He was like, fuck it. He kind of stepped back a little bit and he said, nigger. I was like, wow, I hit this dude hard as hell in the mouth. So he stumbled back. Now he's drunk, but he wants to fight. Dude, black people had this thing where sometimes you just deserve an eye shot. Yeah. I don't want to fight you, but what you said was bogus, so I'm gonna hit you in the mouth. Yeah, and it's over. That was one of those things. Like you said,
that's old school now. Now, right. It's like shit ends with head.
Like you deserve that. You deserve that, right? So man, this dude was trying to fight, man, and I kept like dodging him, and I wasn't really hitting him anymore.
Fighting drunk dudes is fun, dude. It's hilarious.
Yeah, but you feel kind of, I don't know how you brag that you beat up a drunk guy, So wait, but as this is happening, we're in the middle of the street, and he's swinging at me. I'm pushing him down. He's falling down and getting up. We're in the middle of the street of Dousman, and I had called the police.
Oh shit, Dousman.
The police were coming. They didn't know.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking to myself, this could be really bad. So
you're like, how black do I sound on the phone? Like, that's what's going on.
Right? Did I tell them I was black? Right. So then he swung really hard and he spun around and he fell down and he hit his head and he's laying on the ground. He goes, oh, you got me, bro. Now I'm his bro. You got me, bro. You got me, bro.
You got me, partner.
Then the cop comes. The cop tells him, the cop is like listening to his side of the story. And I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, man, I'm going to jail. I literally called my boss. I said, I texted him. I said, I might go to jail tonight. And then the cop comes over to me and he says, that guy says you punched him in the mouth. I said, I did numerous times. And he said, why? I said, because he called me nigger. And he goes, I'm sorry that happened to you. Do you want to press charges or anything? Awesome. I said, no, I just told him to stop calling black people niggers. And that was it. That was that.
Good cop.
And that was the night Mario ended racist.
Let's hear about the night you started it back up. Go. Didn't you have some story you told on Holy Clowns about doing one of those all black clubs where you were the only white person and it ended in some really weird, fucked up way? I don't recall the story.
Okay, Mario, do you remember?
Yes.
Do you remember back in the early Safe House days? This is probably 2003, 2004, right? At the height of the powers of the Thursday night Tony Miller Safe House, right?
Right.
There was this guy, named Christopher Paul, who used to come there. You remember him? He was a black comic, and he came there with like his girlfriend, and he would call her his manager. And he had like a couple of guys he'd come with.
So lame.
He pretended he had an entourage, and he was not even a successful open micer at this point. He was just a guy. And he would go up and not be funny. And he would come in, and one night he came in, and I had been doing this bit that Brian Greene told me was brilliant. So I kept doing it about how
you got punked by Brian Greene.
The way every time black culture advances or every time something's accomplished, white people have to steal something from you. Like Bill Cosby becomes the biggest star of the 80s on TV, and then we have to take like doo-wop music, and Billy Joel is suddenly doing fucking doo-wop, and then boy bands come along.
Billy Joel.
Right. Rosa Parks won her battle, and then Elvis stole rock and roll. And then this happened, and then this happened, and then so I do this whole thing throughout history where every time black people get something, white people take something from them. And it was a pretty good bit. It was like 15 minutes long, but it had a really decent payoff. And Brian made the mistake of saying it was good, so I just grabbed onto it like a bum with a bologna sandwich because Brian approved of it, and he was who I was trying to please.
Well,
yeah. So Chris Paul sees this, and he's like, "Hey, I want you to come and do my club." And it was on 40 something and Silver Spring. It was a dance club. It was an extremely urban dance club. It was on the south
wasn't it a
side
black
of the
girl?
street. What?
Wasn't there a black girl for a manager?
Probably.
That was his girlfriend?
That was his girlfriend.
He
like,
pretended
I think I remember that room. They had like pillars. Pillars.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that room.
And it was like a dance club. It was like a music club. So he was like, I want you to do this show. And it was Anthony Washington, Chris Funny Man Payne, and me. And Chris Paul. So Anthony Washington and Chris Payne and I meet there like a couple hours before just to see the setup. And you remember the stage at the Safe House, how it was just a pallet, basically, with a mic. It looked like a gallows. So that's what they had set up there. It was a pallet with a plywood over it. And the
plywood board over it.
I love it.
So we're looking around and people start to come in, right? And Anthony Washington and Chris Payne dipped. They fucking left. They were like, this is bullshit. Nobody even knew there was a comedy show. They were there to fucking dance and listen to music and drink. So Washington and fucking Payne are like, fuck this, we're out. And they left me there. They left.
That's you.
So they're dancing, the music is going, everything's like, everything's great, right? And then all of a sudden, Chris Paul goes up to the gallows, and he goes into the mic and he goes, "Hey, everybody, in about 10 minutes, we're going to do a comedy show." And then the music goes back up, right? And so 10 minutes later, I'm standing over on the side. I'm the only motherfucker
This one does
there.
have a spotlight, and it's on you.
Oh, it's a spotlight. And
you are
I'm the
bright
only one there.
and reflective.
And Chris Payne goes up, and he goes, "Okay, cut the music, cut the motherfucking music, and everybody's yelling, "What? Fuck you, fuck you!"
Damn,
It's like, "Cut the fucking music! It's a comedy show, motherfucker!" And
this is like punk.
And they're upset that there's going to be a comedy.
That's how comedy. That's how comedy was in Milwaukee for a long time. Yeah, dude. You've run into a lot of that shit.
So then he goes into the mic and he goes, "All right. We got a comedy show. Shut the fuck up. We got a comedy show."
It's how riots start.
It was a riot.
It's like the Police Academy. They riot and Police Academy 1 at the end. That's how it started.
And he points over to me. He points over to me and goes, "Okay, we got a comic. He's a white boy. His name's Mike. Mike, don't say nigger. All right, everybody, it's Mike." And he puts the mic back in the fucking stand. And I walk up, and all I can think to do. So picture it, Mario. It's that setup of the safe house, right? With the gallows stage. I walk up, I stand there, and I'm looking out, and I'm literally the only person without melanin, right? I'm the only fucking white guy. And all I can think to say is, holy shit, this looks like a reverse photo of a lynching.
Oh my God.
Dude, you are, but I get
and
it. Great joke. Let's say though, objectively, great joke.
That is a good joke.
It's funny.
And people start to physically advance toward me. It's a scene. It's like they're one unit, like a bunch of ants all moving at the same time.
Like some Centurions.
And they're yelling. I'm gonna shoot your ass, motherfucker, mothercracker, motherfucker. So security had to like race me to my car, and I left, and I didn't get paid.
That's sad.
That's
my first time in front of a black.
I think elementary schools should have comedy class. I think comedy appreciation shit should be taught in public schools. How to laugh at yourself. Comedy. I'm talking about appreciation, comedy appreciation.
Sure. So
that you know how to laugh at yourself though, and not to. I feel like when you look at all the worst people, terrorists and shit. It's like the common denominator between all the worst people is they don't have a fucking sense of humor. They can take themselves too seriously, etc.
How to know when someone is joking? Like how to know?
Right. Well, like that crowd should have been like, that shit's funny. The reverse negative, like
that same joke.
Maybe they didn't know what a reverse negative is. Some of them, I don't know.
Yeah. Later on, Tony Miller got a room. Did you ever do Tony's room when he had the Savoy?
Oh, I heard about the Savoy. I never got to do that room. Wait, yes, I did. That was on like North or Locust or some shit.
It was on Locust, yeah.
Just west I did
of
that
like
room.
Fulton and shit. Yeah.
By the police station over there.
Yeah, like 5th and Locust or something. Yeah. So I did that room. Tony booked me to do that room with Brian. And I was featuring, and it was a few years in. Now I know how to tell a joke at this point. And I opened with that same joke. And
it killed, didn't it?
It fucking destroyed. Yeah. They loved it. They laughed for like a minute straight, and I couldn't get anything else out until they were
with
done.
The photo negative joke. The reverse. Yeah. Did you set it up though? Did you say,
no? I walked
what reverse
out.
negatives like?
I walked out and I said, "Is it just me, or does this look like a photo negative of a lynching?"
How much of it was confidence? Do you think confidence sold it? Sorry, go ahead.
No, wait. Here. Yeah. I don't think people understand how important the atmosphere is for a good show.
A dance
In the
club.
first instance, there was a dance club. No one was expecting comedy. You know, he stopped them from having fun.
They're already angry.
Now, and then he made them all look at a white dude.
Right. You had no way of winning that.
Right.
Now, cut to a place where, they got the stage, the lighting, they're primed. Yeah. There's a host. He's done 5-10 minutes. Now you come up and you do that joke. It's a whole different ballgame.
True.
Tony had already primed them. He was hosting, so they were in excellent hands. Yeah, it's all atmosphere.
Yeah, those variables definitely make the difference. Oh, by the way, I do think you can teach comedy. I think you do it by neglecting your children. I think you can make comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a fine line between comic and serial killer, though. If that's the recipe.
Very. You know what? I enjoy telling people I don't like them. Like people find out I do comedy and they think, "Oh, you like Pete?" No, I hate people.
Yeah, but a lot of
I'd
say most of the best probably don't. They only tolerate people at the most.
I resent them. I resent their simpleness and their happiness at the simple things in life. I resent the fuck out of that.
Them fucking people that can go to a 9-to-5 job and come home and have a beer and some brisket and then put their I hate those fucking people. How do you do that shit?
I envy it.
I actually wanted to hear. All right, this is perfect. I wanted to ask, just because it's the hot shit conversation right now about Kanye, what everyone thinks of this shit. But that's perfect because I watched a bunch of his interviews, Lex Friedman, Piers Morgan, etc. The root of it seems to be he's angry and he hates people and he hates or whatever anti-Semitic shit. It's out of jealousy. It's like you're jealous of that stupid ignorance is bliss person who can just go work a job and have their brisket and beer and not be miserable.
I think, I agree with that.
You can't do it. You know what I mean? It's like, that's where it's like it's envy. Really.
I can totally see that.
Yeah. That's where my fucking bitterness.
The creative life, like I'm not a comic, but I'm a creative and it's the same thing. It's like, you're so envious of those people. My wife, who's a teacher, who can just get up every morning, plug away, do it. Like,
and be satisfied and be happy. Like, how the fuck do you do that? I couldn't do that shit.
Yeah. I got to leave a stain. I got to know that 100 years from now, someone can prove I was here, not through my descendants and shit like that.
So is it ego? Like George Orwell said in his essay, Why We Write, the number one reason was ego. Like, is comedy the number one reason you do it? Probably, if we're honest with ourselves, ego.
You know what? I think I figured out the reason I like comedy so much is because after I spent that time in prison, I was so riddled with guilt for hurting those people that I felt like I was kind of giving back by entertaining people. That I remember that distinct feeling, like this is what I could do to like pay society back. That's what kind of pushed me over the like. This is a good thing. Go try it. This is good. But then after that first set at Marlon's room, it went over really well. Like I did probably like 5 minutes, 3 minutes maybe, but I got laughs and I was big. It was over. If it would have sucked, I probably would not have done it again. but it was fun. It was great.
Isn't it crazy how much of it depends on that too? The moment, like how many comics would have been great, but they went once and bombed, and were like, I can't do it again.
That first time, yeah.
So you gotta be kind of masochistic, right? Go ahead,
Mario.
sorry.
Do you remember Ben Budd?
Yeah, I remember with 2 Ds.
Yeah, and he. I feel like he was an actor who was doing stand-up to get more comfortable performing. He never wanted to like really be a comic.
Sure.
But his shit was, and he was a writer, and his shit was so smart. And I remember he'd go up, and I took him out on the road a couple of times, and I had him like open for me for shit and stuff. And his shit was so smart that audiences didn't laugh. They'd just kind of be like, yeah. He never figured out the funny part of it, but it was really well written shit. You put that into the hands of someone who
the jokes were only the comics are laughing in the back.
Yeah, but not the same way. Like I used to get that a lot.
Yeah,
where I used to do this bit about Christopher Reeve. I don't even remember my Christopher Reeve bit.
I think I do. Keep going.
Say no more, but I'm laughing already. Go on.
I would walk. One of my badges of honor is I walked 4 tables. It was like a dozen people from the Comedy Cafe. JD was so fucking mad at me. I was with this Christopher Reeve bit, and what would happen when I would do that is the comics at the back of the room would be laughing really because they knew what was coming. But the crowd would be mostly like just kind of staring at me, and sometimes they'd leave. And I used to do it. It was basically about how it was before he died, but he was getting sicker, and it was after Oprah had done this interview with him, and he's in his wheelchair and shit, and she called him a hero, and you kept seeing these magazine articles talking about Christopher Reeve as a hero. He's a hero. Not only is he not a hero,
Michael Gull ain't buying it. Homie, don't
he's
play
the
that.
opposite of a hero. He couldn't even do the bare minimum thing. When you fall off the horse, what do?
You get back up.
Yeah. Superman couldn't even get the fuck back on the horse, right? So he's not a hero. He's an appliance. He's literally plugged into a fucking machine. My microwave is not a hero, and it can make me a baked potato. Christopher Reeve ain't shit. All right? So then people would be like, ah. So I'd say, okay, wait. Christopher Reeve starred in 37 movies. You love him so much. Not naming any of the Superman movies, name the 5. And I would hand someone the microphone.
I can name one. Noises Off is fucking brilliant.
You can't name 5 non-Superman Christopher Reeve movies.
I can't name one beside the one he just said.
Dude, if you ain't seen Noises Off, it's one of the funniest movies of all fucking time. See it. It's hilarious.
So I walked these people, right? And it was like, and there was some part of the punchline of it had to do with the word piss bag. Like he can't even change his own piss bag or something like that, right? So there was this couple that used to come to the safe house all the time. They were this younger white couple.
Oh shit,
that
we
used
lose
to come
Mario?
to the safe house. And they liked me a lot. And there used to be a bar. You remember the bar Santani on Water Street, Mario? It was a piano bar. Okay.
Oh, wait, was it really skinny?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they used to go there, and they went there one night. And apparently the piano player looked a lot like me. He was a little skinny. At the time, I had a goatee. My hair wasn't gray yet. It was brown. So he had a shaved head and a goatee, and he's sitting there playing like, some Rodgers and Hammerstein shit, right? And this couple walks in, and they see him, and they think he's me, and they start yelling "piss bag" at this guy, and they got thrown out.
Rando.
Yeah. But like that bit got me fucking.
As you guys talk, just me, dude. Thoughts, fucking. I have random ass weird thoughts, but I was thinking, like the physical, the catastrophe point. It's like the point something goes from one state to another, from like solid to gas or water goes from non-boiling to boiling. They call it like the catastrophe point. And it's funny how much of comedy is built on catastrophe points. I was thinking like Christopher Reeve, like think of the day before he fell off that horse and the day after, like what the Dow index was on Christopher Reeve jokes. There were like no Christopher Reeve jokes. If there were a few Superman ones, but motherfucker breaks his neck falling off a horse, boom. Christopher Reeve jokes are up fucking 700,000,000%. Like,
yep.
It's so crazy. Something bad happens in comics. You're just like,
right now I need to point something out. Jay, yeah. look at Mario's square down there. Okay. It looks like he's being fucked in the ass by powder.
Oh my God. Wait.
Who's the dude in Watchmen? Mr. Manhattan or whatever. Powder. I'm always a sucker for a powder reference.
Right? It's tender.
Awesome.
Hey, take that out. Edit that out.
No. I'm editing Justin Bieber in behind you. That's what I'm doing. Like that Floyd Mayweather meme. You ever see that Mayweather meme? Bieber behind him, like, I'll post it. It'll be in the show.
There we go.
It was my profile picture for a while. Whenever Mayweather fights, I just throw it up. Now that he fights like little fucking Asian.
Have you done Marlon Hill's new room, Mario?
I've done the one at the hotel. I think that's a hotel with the restaurant in it.
I've never been there, but he calls it Marlon's Comedy Pub or something.
Yeah, I've done that place.
Yeah, is it good?
Yeah, but I was sick that night, man. I didn't have a good experience, but they had fun. It's not very big, though. You can't hold it. I think you could probably have maybe 60, 70 people in there.
I like that kind of crowd. I like that size.
Yeah, let me ask this again as an outsider. Another thing that fascinates me, it's kind of mythological to me, the green room. What's the green room like at these shows you book? For one thing, what's the atmosphere like? And secondly, Gull knows this, I've mentioned before, I have this fantasy of doing a From the Green Room podcast where comics are getting up and going on stage and coming back like, man, that fucking sucked. The crowd sucks tonight, whatever. But we're also just bullshitting. But I just want to know how much that would interrupt the green room, or some people in there too serious. Is it like a place where outsiders shouldn't be, you know, because you're saying the shit that gets you canceled and you're making other comics laugh, etc., which to me would make it great. That's why the podcast would be the shit. But
I've had a couple of, well, first of all, when you say green room, that could be technically just a corner of the bar.
Yeah, exactly. That's part of it, depending on what kind of show you're booking, what the venue is. But say, hypothetically, if you were to pick a venue that has a legit back room where people are waiting.
Oh my God, dude! When I opened for TJ Miller at the Pabst, fuck, bro, they had a big ass widescreen with all the consoles, like the Nintendo, all the old school consoles. They had a bunch of fucking R&B LPs with a record player.
Sweet.
It was so nice, dude. Like,
is that shit he brings, or is that like his rider? Like, I want all that shit there for me when I get there.
Well, all that stuff was there. They had a caterer.
They just have it in the green room.
Yes. Oh, it was so fucking nice. It was great. And I smoked weed with Cat Williams, not Cat Williams.
Oh shit!
God damn it! I can never think of his name. The little skinny black dude with the big eyes.
Eddie Griffin.
Eddie Griffin. Yeah, I smoked weed with Eddie Griffin's body.
Fuck yeah!
I went to an AA meeting with him.
Undercover
once.
Brother.
Really? Yeah, dude, that's so fun. That scene where he spins the car out but doesn't spill the drink. That shit is hilarious.
Undercover Brother's underrated. That shit is late '90s, early aughts comedy gold. Like Booty Call, like those movies people don't remember. Right. It's fucking classics.
Yeah. I watched him cry at an AA meeting in West Hollywood in 2008.
With those eyes.
You can't talk about that, man.
Nah,
what happened?
I was there networking, trying to cast this movie that I was making, and that's that Olivia Barish, my lie about being in that movie thing, and
AA casting. I fucking love it.
And we went. She networked with people. You ever see Repo Man?
Fuck yeah,
Mario.
I actually have not.
Okay,
dude.
Well, one of the stars of it, the main girl in it, I made friends with her by lying about having been in a movie with her, and she believed me, and so we became friends. And
You're a psychopath, dude.
Oh, fuck yeah. I was trying to move. You know how like in stand up, you get to a point where unless you have movie or TV credits, you can't really get to the next tier.
No, I don't know about that, Michael Gull. I've never experienced that.
Well,
you ain't been no movie? No, sorry, bro.
But I started lying about being in a movie, and I put it in my resume, in my intro, in my shit, and I just picked this random ass movie that I liked from the 80s called Tough Turf that no one had ever fucking seen.
Brilliant tactic, dude.
And this is before IMDb. This is
that's easily verifiable. That's not brilliant
not anymore.
Now.
Not back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Okay,
back in the day, you could get away with shit. Dude.
There was no IMDb, dude.
I lamented. Fuck the internet, man.
The internet.
Yeah.
For real.
So I found this
actress.
Ruined
everything.
I found her on MySpace.
Scams and shit.
And I sent her a long ass message saying, "Hey, you don't remember me, blah blah blah." So and she sent me back a message saying, "Yeah, I do remember you." And so we became friends. To this day,
Hollywood insincerity shit. It's gonna be Olivia Barish's background now. Shit. Yeah. Tough Turf, fucking one sheet.
So she was taking me around to network with people at AA and NA meetings in the LA area.
And that's what she does, like to network. Like, is it like Fight Club where she was like Tyler Durdening you? Like, we need to go here and fucking.
That's exactly what it was. We went to a meeting with fucking Dave Navarro and went out to breakfast with him.
We gotta make a movie about this. This could be a TV series. Shit.
I went to an AA meeting that had John Goodman and John Cusack in Malibu. I went to a fucking. Todd Glass was at one. Eddie Griffin was at one. There was just, and she would just go around and be like, "Hey, this is Michael. He's making
Todd Glass." Fuck yeah.
And we're sitting there drinking coffee out of fucking styrofoam cups and like chain smoking cigarettes.
Did you just make up fake stories and shit too about? Because you got to get to the mic once in a while and talk, or you just were like, "I'm just here to listen my first time" or whatever.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I'm not gonna denigrate the recovery. I'm not gonna fuck up a 12-step. I'm not gonna lie there, but
just to get in,
some shit is sacred, But yeah, right. I would definitely take the introductions and exchange phone numbers and shit.
I did a stolen valor thing once.
Oh shit!
I pretended to be a serviceman once.
Not for comedy. Purpose. For comedy?
No.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
Colonel?
I was traveling and I had this layover in Chicago. And I had one of those army bags, and I think it was right after some attack or something, or we had just sent some troops out or something. Something had just happened.
He had a surplus store duffel bag.
Yeah, right.
Rode that shit to a USO lounge.
And people started saying, "Thank you for your service," and like saluting me and shit. I'm like, so I don't say anything. So I'm at the Chicago train station. I'm down in the smoking area, and these two guys are sitting down there rolling the joint. And they're like, "Are you being deployed?" And I'm like, "Fuck it." Like, yeah. I said, "Yeah, I got a rendezvous with my sub in St. Louis." And they're like, "Oh, man, that's crazy, man." And we smoked a joint, and that was it.
You saying with a sub, like a submarine, like you were in the Navy?
I told them I was,
Wait, a sub in St. Louis. I guess you take the Mississippi down to the ocean. What's a sub doing in St. Louis?
Said whatever, bro.
I'm saying they should have caught that stolen valor. They should have been like, hold up.
That's what I mean. Like you get this sense of power that you could like fuck with people.
I'm a veteran and I actually stopped using my duffel bag because it was gross when people always thanking me for my service.
That's why I stopped using it, because a lot of people would do that all the time.
I don't even as a veteran, I didn't even like it, especially because I never went to war. I was in the Clinton years. We were chilling and shit.
I come from a military family, like my dad, my grandparents, everyone. But I am I'm not a coward. I couldn't stand to watch my friends die. That would make me useless. I'd be useless.
An interesting take on it. Holy shit.
Like if you and I went to boot camp for 6 weeks or whatever, and we bunked together and all of a sudden,
and shit,
right? And
most jobs aren't in harm's way. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to the infantry and shit like that, you can serve in the military without going in harm's way for sure. But
I don't know. So they were actually my dad was actually in battles in Vietnam, and my grandfather. Well, I believe he.
What was that like? You got any good? Was he like shell shocked and PTSD?
He had one story.
And shit,
he had one story where he told me why he doesn't smoke weed anymore. He said they were on a trail in Vietnam. I forget all the details or whatever, but he was like a squad leader or some shit. So they had stepped off this trail into like this little clearing between some trees, and they propped their rifles up and they smoked some fucking, I think he said hash or some shit. I think it was hash, and they all fell asleep. He said he woke up, he could hear Vietnamese, like he could see people's boots walking on the trail they were on, and his whole squad is asleep, and they just walked right past. He said he could reach out and touch their boots. And I was like, holy shit. He never told me if he killed anyone before, though. He would never answer that.
I would be so scared in that moment. I'd be scared for the rest of my life.
Fuck yeah, that would change me as an individual.
For sure.
I couldn't do it, man. I have the total respect. And even cops, I love the ideal of cops. I love the idea of the military and serving and stuff, but I couldn't do it, man. I'm not as scared of anything to happen to me, but I would hate to see people die. Like, be in that shit watching people die. I couldn't do it.
Dude, being a cop is such a fucked up career that I don't think we take into account what it is. I have a theory, or this is what I would do policy-wise if I were in charge. I would treat cops, because of how fucked up America is and how lawless we are, and because of our stupid-ass war on drugs and shit and how armed we are, like they're military, and I'd give them tours of duty where they're like on the streets 3 months a year. 3 months a year
Right.
you do on the streets. The other 9 months you're doing like community outreach, de-escalation training, jiu-jitsu, all that shit. And then you go 3 month stints. But man, these years on end of every day where everyone's lying to you and running from you. And man, if you look at like the dispatch, even in Milwaukee, every 10 seconds there's shit going on. Boom, fucking suspected robbery, gunshots,
That's exactly why I left. It was too much shit. There's too many people in a small area.
We just sold our house. This is the last show I'm going to do from this basement. Sorry, not to interrupt you, but I'm going to have to tear all this down because we're moving. We just sold our house to get out of the city.
When are you moving?
Next week.
Really? Are you going out to?
We got to be out by the 14th. We got like a month of post occupancy, but yeah, I'm going to go out to Wales. So I'll be by you and Dousman. But
hell yeah, that's not far.
Right, for sure. But point being, go on. Yeah, I interrupted you. You're just about to go on a city rant because I could join you on that later too.
He forgot what you was talking about.
No,
Mario, you had mentioned not wanting to see people die.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever watched someone die? Have you ever seen someone die?
I saw my friend get hit by a car when I was probably about 10 or 11. Oh, this is a fucked up story, man. Now, okay. Now remember, I'm like 10 years old, okay? 10-year-olds are super practical, right? Now listen, dude, this is why another reason why I do comedy, because I did some fucked up shit in my youth. So anyway, right, we're literally walking across the street to go to Benjamin Franklin to get some penny candy. And on the way back, there's a fire truck coming, and this guy is trying to beat the fire truck. And my friend had just stepped into the intersection, and the guy in the car, he hit my friend. My friend flies like 20 feet in the air. He's a vegetable. He's in a coma in the hospital. Dude, 2 days later, I go up to his house, and I ring the doorbell, and I ask his mom if I could have his toys.
It's like a Jeselnik type fan.
It made sense to me. It made sense. If it was me, I would want my friend to have my toys. You know, it made sense to me.
Child logic, man. Yeah,
right.
Sure.
That's 10-year-old logic. But after years later, when I thought about that shit, because I was like, why was she so angry at me?
The irony of it. Did she slam the door in your face?
Yeah, right. Like, what's wrong with her?
Oh my God, think of her though, in her emotions in that moment of just like this.
Dude, she made this
kid,
face.
You changed her opinion of humanity forever, probably in that moment. Like people are.
And I was like his best friend. I knew her. She knew my mom. They lived like 3 buildings from us in West Lawn. And she made this face like, I can't believe you little demon. Like she had this face, dude. And I was like, why? What's wrong with her?
Wow. Yeah. That's heavy. Wow. That's beautiful though. That's so human, that whole story. Child logic, the whole just seeing that happen. Oh. That's fucking nasty.
Well, now I'm sorry I fucking asked that question.
Would you ever see anyone dying off? I know a lot of times people ask a question so they get to tell their story. Let's hear your dead people shit.
I've seen some, like half a dozen people die, yeah.
Half a dozen?
Wait.
At once?
Wait, how many by your hand? Right.
Like a plane crash or something? What are you talking about?
No, over the years. The first time was
like
about
seeing
that
them, like
same
been
age.
within feet of them type shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time was about that same age. I saw a guy, and my parents and I were at a restaurant it's not a restaurant anymore, but it was on like 73rd and Greenfield in West Dallas.
Sure.
Back then it was called Perkins.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I remember
Perkins was a chain. Yeah.
It was, yeah, but it was an early iteration
Okay.
of that. There weren't a bunch of them around. And
I
we were
fucked
there
some
on a
Perkins up
Friday,
at 3
and because they had like the best battered haddock fish fry. And we were there sitting at a window booth, and it's right at an intersection, and this guy on a motorcycle who wasn't wearing a helmet got into an accident with a car, and the car like ran over his head, and he was like right outside the window, and I just was like watching and like couldn't look away. I saw someone commit suicide. I was there when someone did that once. I've seen a few people be shot to death. Saw a guy get stabbed. Yeah,
Where the
I've seen
fuck are you
people
hanging
die.
out? Is this like buying coke and shit? Like the shootings? Like what are the
Right.
shootings?
Like, where the fuck are you? Where are you when these things are happening to you?
Unless you're a Hatfield or McCoy or you've been to war, white people don't normally have that many dead body stories unless you're like a
You live in
paramedic or
Gotham.
something.
You live in Gotham City and shit.
I haven't really lived like a white guy all that much. I don't know. I go places.
Whatever that even means. I'm just talking shit.
But like
I know what it means.
I saw a guy get shot. I saw a guy get shot and die when I was at MATC to be a cop, and I went to cop school, and
like most serial killers do.
I was standing outside with my friend having a cigarette outside are you familiar with like the MATC setup downtown?
Sort of.
Yeah, I went there. Okay.
So the S building, the glass building.
Yeah.
The nice one in between the brick ones, right?
Like behind the shitty one, yeah.
Yeah, I was the editor of the paper of the MATC Times. I was the editor in chief for 2 years, and I had an office up there. And I was outside having a cigarette with like my art director, and we were standing there. And then this group of guys came out. It's right across the street from the municipal courthouse, right?
Right.
Where you go to like traffic court and shit. A group of guys came out, like clearly like gang guys, and then another group of guys was coming from the courtyard at MATC across the street, and a couple of the guys from the courthouse did like this whistle, and then the other guys did a corresponding whistle, and they kind of all met about 20 feet in front of Ed and I and started throwing. They started just fighting and just jumping at each other. And one guy pulled a pistol out of his waistband, and he shot a guy like 3 times in the stomach. And
it was like the Socs and the Greasers.
And we just stood there, like,
that's crazy.
We couldn't run because we were just like, the fuck? And then this guy's buddies picked him up and carried him across the street and laid him on the lawn of the police administration fucking building, which is right there.
Right there by the courthouse.
That's what makes shooting somebody there so ballsy.
Where he died. And then then we were unfrozen, and we went back up to the office and we're like, we got to get the fuck out of there. And because I was the editor of the paper, everybody kind of at the school knew who I was, sort of, because I had a column that I wrote to with my picture in it, and it was like a humor column.
What year was this?
Early 90s. This would have been 1994, 3?
Oh, I was locked up by then. I went to MATC in 91.
Yeah, this was like 94, I think.
I remember the paper, though. The paper was there before you, though, right?
Oh, yeah, it had been there forever. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that paper.
And it's still there. But because people knew who I was, we went up and hid in the office. And, you know,
did you, as the paper guy? I mean, were you just like fucking article? You know,
no. I was like, here's a bunch of criminals who just did a criminal thing. I really hope no one saw my face seeing them do this.
No,
so
true.
But wait, you're like a reporter, man. You're supposed to be like busting down the fucking.
I'm not a reporter.
I'm
the guy who they pay. It was a paid position. I was just like, this is fucking cool. I don't have to go to class. I'm getting money.
Wait, so you telling me after you saw somebody get murdered, the next day there was nothing in the paper about it?
Well, wait. Wait, later that same day, cops come up to my office because other people in the courtyard were like, anybody witness this? Anybody see anything?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, the fucking Michael Gull.
The paper guy, yeah.
So they sent the cops up to see me. And then later that same day, Channel 12 showed up with a
Real
fucking
reporters.
camera and a mic in my face saying that with my name, what I did at the school,
Address,
and that I was
birthday.
a fucking witness.
Oh my God.
They use the word
news.
Witness.
They put me on the fucking news.
Hey, Channel 12 is like the best news of Milwaukee too.
Yeah. Fuck
It said
these people.
witness, and then like halfway through, they're like, "Oh shit!" and they erased it, and it said "future victim of hit."
Hey, did they
Right.
did they change your voice at least?
So that was bad. That was bad.
Wow.
And I've seen the aftermath of people getting killed.
Was
like
the
this
suicide?
guy,
What was it? Gun? Like was it
shotgun?
And
Jeez.
did you
Let's
like,
move to the next thing.
Yeah. The closest I've come, if we're going to stay on that subject, though, and you're not telling stories, I haven't seen anyone die remarkably in front of me, which would freak me the fuck out because I'm very preoccupied with death. Like I'm like that bit in that Whatever Works, not a great Woody Allen movie, but that one with Larry David, and he's like coming down the steps and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm dying." And this woman's like, "Oh my God, what's wrong? Should I call 911?" He's like, "No, not right now, but eventually I'm dying. Like we're all dying." Like he's just preoccupied with this shit, mortality,
right
whatever. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. But
I was there when my mom died. I was
like in the hotel room or the
we
hospital
took her off life
the
support.
motel room.
So I was like touching her when she died. That's fucking.
Damn.
Well, my
Michael,
friend Perry, like he wasn't dead yet, but they're like, "We're gonna pull the plug in a day or two." And I did some of that, but I wasn't there the moment. Like where they again, catastrophe theory we taled about, alive, not alive. Like
I've seen sick people and then they were dead.
Exactly.
I was just never there.
Here's a good one.
Fucking surreal, man. We made it. When you take someone off life support, you sit down in an office at the hospital with the doctors, and you make a decision as to. So my mother's husband and I. She had lymphoma and was in a coma.
You guys did rock, paper, scissors to see who got to pull the plug?
No, they so you have a meeting and you decide when that person's going to die. It's fucking surreal.
Like the time?
Yeah. We made an appointment for
when works for you?
Sunday.
Well, I'm kind of busy then. The Packers are on. Let's do oh my God.
Sunday, September 6th. 2015 at 10 a.m. was when we decided. So
were you on time for it, or are you late like you were for this podcast?
So we went there, and it's her sister, my aunt, me, and her husband, and a nurse actually did this, and they crank up the morphine, and they extubate, they take out the breathing shit, and it took 43 minutes, and she basically picture taking a fish out of the water and putting it on the sidewalk and just standing there and watching. The breathing just until it's just gone, and it took 43 fucking minutes. It unbelievable. I still have nightmares about it.
Damn.
Yeah. And you're like touching, you're like touching their hair and stuff.
But inside you're like, when is this over? Please just.
Yeah. It's fucking unreal.
I've never experienced anything like that.
That's insane. Have you ever heard of a smother party?
It turned out fine.
Have you ever heard of a smother party? It's something they used to do back in the day, like during the Depression or shit, or even the 1800s, when they couldn't feed the family so much and it was hard, you know what I mean? So they'd send the kids off like Duke Ellington at 12. They're like, get on a fucking train and go fucking San Francisco. We can't feed you, you know? So a smother party is when you take like an old dying family member or someone who has consumption or whatever, they would put the mattress on top of the person, and then the whole family would sit on the mattress and just smother them, snuff them out.
That's not a real thing.
Smother party, look it up, dude. It's like a historical thing. That's how they would avoid 43 minutes of agonizingly watching someone you know's fucking dying die.
Yeah, but it's 43 minutes. But then it's 43 minutes of you being able to feel them punching the mattress, trying to get the fuck out.
I mean, usually I think they'd be old, frail people, and it's like you sit a family on them. They're just done for. I mean, George Floyd took 8 minutes.
My mom just called me the other day, and she wanted to make sure that I would honor her wishes. Like like she doesn't want a blood transfusion, that kind of stuff. And I was like, why wouldn't I do that? Of course I would. She goes, I'm just making sure. And then I said, yeah, well, me too. If I'm sick or deformed or something, don't be resuscitate me. And she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, man, if I'm on fire, just leave me alone. I'm almost there. Just stop. Don't just let me go. I'm tired of this shit. She was cracking up. She's got to be in her. How is my mom? I think she's gonna outlive me. I really do. If I don't start making better decisions.
I remember back a little while ago when this was a cheery broadcast when we were talking about Mario doing prison time.
Oh, yeah, now we're talking about funerals and shit.
Jesus.
Did your mother? Dude, I love it. Let's talk about all this shit. Did your mother? Was there something that precipitated her making that call? Did a friend of hers die or something? Or was she just, I'm old, not feeling well, or what? Like what? You said she called you saying,
yeah, lymphoma. You said, right?
Oh. No, I'm asking you, Mark. You just said your mom called you, right? Saying, don't unplug me or some shit, or did I hear that wrong?
Yeah, no, my mom's dramatic. She's fine.
She's like 62, jogs 3 miles a day.
Hey, I'll tell you how dramatic she is, right? I called her once. She's like, hello. I'm like, hey, Mom, how you doing? She's like, I'm all right. I feel a little sick. I've been in the bed all day. And I'm like, oh, that's messed up. And then I hear my nephew in the background, like, drop something. And she goes, Michael. Michael, what you doing in here? Get in here. I told you to get in here and sit down. And I'm like, I said, Mama, why are you talking to me off like you in pain? And she just started laughing. I was like, you just wanted me to feel bad for you, didn't you?
She used that sensitive Marky Mark voice.
Yeah, right.
You got to do. Talks to his girlfriend. Like, what's up, baby?
Exactly.
Hilarious. Sympathy voice.
Yeah, she's very dramatic. There's probably nothing even wrong with her.
Jay.
Yo.
Spin the wheel. Make Mario do one.
Oh shit! I don't even know what's on there. Some of these we've talked about.
That's the beauty of it.
Wait. What's happening?
Some of these we've talked about already. The problem.
We spin the wheel, and you gotta respond to whatever it comes to.
Oh, I thought it was like you win something.
I mean, this is one we talked about before, but we posted on fucking Lampton. What's in your spank bank? It landed on again.
Oh god.
Oh
Confess
man.
to us here and now and our 11 subscribers. What are you jerking off to lately?
Wait, what now? I'm not. My hands are right here.
Not this moment, but lately.
Oh, is that the question?
Yes. What's your fodder of late? What does it for you?
Oh man, my girlfriend is here, bro.
So obviously, it's his girlfriend.
Her.
Yes, of course. It's.
And it always has been, even before they met. He just didn't know.
Even before I knew who she was.
This is where I'm throwing back up a fucking insert of that soap with the bite mark in it.
Oh yeah, that moment turns me on too. That gets me going too.
Well, the next thing it landed on, both of these, thanks to Gull telling me to put them up there, pronouns.
So wait, say that again.
Pronouns.
What about pronouns?
I just ducked out of this one. He just said.
Oh, what do I think about that?
The whole pronoun thing.
Being told by strangers what you need to call them.
Because Gull got material.
Okay, well, you know what? I don't believe that affects me as much. I live in a very conservative area. I never meet anyone. Dude, I don't do anything that exposes me to that type of lifestyle anymore. Like,
do you care about it theoretically outside of your own
not at all.
Existence?
Not at all. Do you, man? Whatever you want to do. If it don't affect me, I don't give a fuck what you do. Just don't hurt nobody. I don't care. I genuinely, don't hurt people. Let people do what they want to do.
But it goes both ways, right? What if your neighbors started suddenly coming to you and telling you like how to address them and shit? Would you just be cool with it or be annoyed or what?
I would have to deal with it at that time. But right now, that hasn't happened. So for me to speculate on what I would do, it's just purely speculation. But the way it is now, like if someone asked me, I have no opinion. It's just like with abortion. I have no opinion on that whatsoever. And it's not my choice. It doesn't affect me.
That's like such a great, smart position to have for so many things when you think about it, though. Because everyone nowadays has got to have a position on everything. It's like,
I don't understand. I was just talking to someone about this, about how an ideology can make you so angry that you want to hurt someone that doesn't agree with you. I can't put my mind around. Like, I'm a Packers fan. I hate Bears fans, but there's nothing in that arena that a Bears fan could do to me that would make me want to hurt them just out of nowhere. Like,
right.
You know, not even if they walked up to you wearing a Bears jersey.
As long as they don't touch me. As long as you don't touch me, say what you want to say, man. It's America. Say what you want to say. Don't call me the N-word, but say what you want to say, man. I don't care what people do. I really don't, man. Just leave me out of this shit.
Dude,
it's not up to me.
That's everyone needs to just say, I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I don't care. Like, just check out to a degree. Everyone's in a frenzy over everything. It's crazy.
I'm more worried about how I'm going to pay my credit card bill next month.
Right.
It just doesn't affect me in that I don't know anyone who it affects. Now, if it touches me later or, you know, in the future, then I will.
Did you just refer to transgender people as it? If it touches me, is that what you just did?
No.
I'm fucking totally fucking. It's a media trap. Don't fall for it. Gotcha.
I mean, whatever the subject is, whatever it is, if I have to encounter that situation, I will probably form an opinion at that time. But until then, I genuinely don't care what other people do.
And even at that time, though, you don't have to form an opinion. Man, the truly stoic Greek thing is just to be like, I'm thinking about it still. I don't got an answer for
like,
you.
Hey, do you, fam?
Yeah.
Hey, but for real, if you ask me to call you something, I'm going to call you what you want me to call you. Unless you say like, my name is Daddy, call me Daddy. But if you want to be called by a different pronoun or a different gender of a name, I don't give a shit. I'll call you whatever the fuck you want me to call you.
But here's a question though, in regards to that, because this is where people, I think the slope goes and people get annoyed, is what if like the second or third time you forgot and you dead named them or whatever, called them their old name, how mad do they get? Because that's part of it. Is people, I think, get upset when transgender people have like maybe less patience for people remembering to implement the right pronouns or whatever. And it's like,
where do you live?
Me? Milwaukee. Yeah. But I'm getting out. But
I've never seen a transgender person. Wait,
I know several. I know a couple that I love dearly, but
in Minnesota I have. That comedian, you know her, Gull?
What's what Chappelle was talking about?
At the Dublin Irish pub in Minnesota.
No, I don't think I know.
And there was one in Madison too, a transgender person in Madison years ago. I forgot her name.
Regardless if you know them or not, though. You know, and I'm not telling you, you can say I don't have an opinion. Of course, that's perfectly valid. Like I said, I don't.
You remember that open mic on 5th, right off of National, Mario? That was for a couple of years.
I
know you were there because you and I smoked weed outside there once.
5th and National.
Yeah, 5th Street.
That wasn't a theater, was it?
It was that place.
The theater, yeah, I remember the theater, yeah.
Yeah, there was a trans person that used to go there all the time to the.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, used to bake weed cookies.
Nice.
Called herself Samantha.
Dude, and amazing people. Like I said, I know people I love, respect. You know, I don't give a shit. I'm like you guys said. I would just say,
people
call you whatever you want. Yeah, everyone's got their own.
Everyone's got their thing, man.
The fact that anyone cares that much is crazy to me. But
that's the thing. Like,
I think it's the militance though of them. Everyone, both sides, and I hate the word sides, but all people at all times need to try and be as understanding as possible. That includes
Dude, there's
if you're a
plenty of shit I
transgender
don't
person
agree
and
with.
someone uses the wrong pronoun on you for like the third time, but you know they've tried to do it right, or you know what I mean? People are just
Here's an example.
scorekeeping, and it's fucking lame.
Yeah, that kind of sucks if people can't forgive you for making an honest mistake like that.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying.
I look at it like this, dude. I do not like pro wrestling at all. I don't understand pro. It's stupid to me.
Yeah.
It's absurd to me. It's dumb. But I see other people like it. That's the thing that's real to me is how excited I see people get about whatever that thing is. Even if I like country music, you know, I don't get it, but I see all these like big stars packing these fucking stadiums. Like someone like that shit. Racing, like NASCAR.
Yeah.
That shit don't do shit for me. But I can't deny that it's a thing.
As long as it's not victimizing anyone who gives a shit.
Right. I don't care, man. I don't get it. People worry about way too much stuff, dude. Life is simple.
Truth.
If you make it simple, a lot of that shit, that's what politics is, man. They just try to make you feel divided when everyone wants the same shit.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. Mario is a wise man.
He is. On that note, should we end on words of wisdom so he can go finish watching The Shining? Because I feel like an asshole from breaking up somebody's viewing of The Shining. You should start that shit from the beginning again.
Yeah. We were right at the beginning where he had moved into the hotel.
Oh, perfect. So, all right.
Now remember, Brian Green in the Scatman role.
Yes.
Absolutely. The shit. Here's my words of wisdom. Don't push when you poop. To the young kids. You'll thank me if you don't remember anything else about me. You'll be like, that's the black dude that told me not to push when I poop. I remember him.
That's true. And I will say also, I learned from you more wisdom you imparted. If you have to poop really bad, don't just walk into a jar door.
Hotel.
Yes.
Don't ever do that. Hey, I don't even think I told them about it. Like the next day, I don't think I told her about it until like way later, like days later.
That's hilarious.
Dude, I freaked out. That shit freaked me out, man. I was like, holy shit, man. That could have been really bad.
Yeah.
Mick Luzinski. I never forget the name. I'm using that as a character.
He's Liza's cousin, right? Or something like that.
Something by marriage, kind of like distant third, some shit. I've actually tried to get in touch with him through her, and she can't. So.
Hey, let's talk and think about doing a green room podcast sometime to test it out. That should be amazing.
I think that's a great idea.
If you get the right venue, we'll hook that up. And awesome meeting you, dude. I could talk to you for like 6 hours, but yeah, we all got shit to do.
Yeah, I got to go watch The Shining.
Come back whenever.
Right. Good to see you, Mario.
All right, you too, bro. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye.